G'day, ZiggyD here, and stash tabs are on sale for Path of Exile today. They went up just a few hours ago, and they'll be up for the next 20 or so hours, hopefully by the time this video goes live. So, as such, to just help you guys decide whether you wanted to splurge out and get a few stash tabs, I thought I'd make a little mini guide on, whether it's actually worth getting additional stash tabs and what you can use them for if you do, just so that you can, to help you make the decision, especially if you're a newer player. So the first things first, if you're a brand new player to Path of Exile and you haven't really fully decided whether you like the game, I recommend not getting any stash tabs yet. Now I could sit here and preach to you how you should be throwing all of your money at your computer screen because Grinding Gear Games is an amazing developer and they've made a fantastic game for us and they don't charge us any money for it. So I could preach about that, but I won't. I won't preach about that. Instead, the point of free-to-play games is that you have a chance to actually really get in and experience the whole of the game, the full thing, all of it, for free. So you're not obligated to send any money to the developers in any way, and I really think you should take advantage of that if you're a brand new player. Obviously, people have different amount of value on their money and things like that. And maybe you want to jump straight in with 50 stash tabs so you can hoard all of that sweet loot. But now I'm just going to explain the bare minimum of what you can get away with, and that is, I think, the basic 4 stash tabs. So when you first start, you'll start off with those 4 stash tabs, and I think you very much can get away with this. What I would use those 4 stash tabs are for, I'd have 1 tab for currency. As you can see here, you wouldn't need a whole tab for currency. Look, you've got less than 1/4 of a tab there. That's because I'm extremely broke. See, I'm what Path of Exile players might refer to as an altaholic. I like to level new characters all the time, and that means I never really have any currency because I spend all my currency on new gear, on creating new gear and trading for new gear, and I'm always broke. However, if you're not a huge altaholic like myself, and you actually get in and do some farming and don't keep making new characters, you will fill up a stash tab with currency pretty quickly. And that wouldn't even be considered hugely wealthy. Like, hugely wealthy players would have multiple stash tabs full of high-level currency. But especially when you start getting a lot of like armor scraps and whetstones and things like that, alterations and transmutations, it can fill up pretty quickly. And you also need a bit of space for things like maps and some extra stuff that you find. So that would be the first tab. The second tab I would have as a general vendor tab. And I think this one's a pretty important one and one that a lot of people overlook. This includes duplicate skill gems that you can use to trade for resistance rings and onyx amulets. You could put your chaos orb vendor recipe sets in here. Quality flasks I think are also really great to have on there. Basically those things that you can hold onto for a while so that you can vendor for useful things later. I think that's well worth a tab. The third tab I would have is skill gems. I think pretty much anyone needs at least 1 skill gem tab. Mine's pretty full here and you will fill yours up pretty quick, but if you throw most of your duplicate gems into the vendor tab, you can keep to 1 tab pretty well. You might be a bit squishy, but you can get rid of skills that you don't think you'll ever use. And then the final one is a keep tab. So, just some sort of tab that has all of the good gear or the stuff you want to really hold on to. It could be uniques, or it could be beastly items that you're going to use at a higher level, or it could be really good low-level leveling items. So that'll be the 4 tabs. And as I said, I think you can get away with those 4. However, if you're finding you're really enjoying Path of Exile, I think it's well worth getting probably at least another 3 stash tabs. The things I would use those 3 stash tabs are, I would have 1 trading tab, so that it's a good idea to have all of the stuff you're trying to sell, like on the forums and things like that, in one space where you never move them, so that way they can stay in your forum post without becoming unverified and things like that. You can do it without screwing it up, basically. So 1 trading tab. The next thing I would have is like an extra tab for alt gear. So if you're playing hardcore, or if you really just like leveling alts like myself, then you're going to be dying or re-rolling new characters and you want gear that you can level up with. So I have this spread across multiple tabs broken down into levels. So like I have 0 to level 10 to 20, level 20 to 30 and so on. That's because I have quite a few stash tabs left over from my initial points purchase when I built a supporter back in closed beta. So I'd have get at least 1 extra tab for that in addition to your keeping tab. So you can have 1 tab for your beastly items and then 1 tab for like new items to level new hardcore characters, things like that. And then the final thing I would have is, in addition to your normal vendor tab, I would have another separate tab for chaos vendor recipe So any full sets of rares basically over level 60, and they can take up quite a bit of space in your inventory, but they also produce a lot of wealth when you start saving them up. So they're well worth holding onto and well worth having a tab for. So 3. Now the current deal that's on is 20 points. So that's 33% off. It's usually 30 points or $3. So $2 down from $3. Pretty good deal. 33% cheaper, obviously, but 20% cheaper if you compare it to the Stash Tab pack. If I can see where there's Stash Tab on 150 points, so you save 30 there. So you still save a little bit extra on that from this daily deal. And if you're watching this video late and the daily deal's over, then maybe you can just use this as a bit of a guide to Stash Tabs in general. And maybe the Stash Tab deal will come around again soon. I'm sure it will. So the problem with only needing 3 is that in order to get 3, you need to get the $10 pack, so that gives you 96 points, and it leaves you 16 points over after you get 3 on the 20-point special. Actually, I made a mistake. With the $10 pack, you get 4, so that's 1 more extra than you have, and I'm sure you'll be able to make good use of that extra tab. Don't worry about that. In fact, I think most people find when they buy extra stash tabs that they usually end up wanting more and more the more they buy. So $10 pack's pretty good and leaves you with the extra 16 points, or you can just get the 5, get 2 stash tabs and try and make do with that. But up to you in the end. The deal's a pretty good deal, and I'm sure lots of people will be going crazy snatching up those. If I didn't already have a pretty adequate amount of stash tabs, I'd probably get a few extra as well. Anyway, hopefully you guys have found this helpful. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.